It's a piece in 4 movements. It's for Sinfonette, another kind of, it's for a large ensemble. It's not a typical Sinfonette because of, instead of bassoon and oboe, I use a saxophone. And this is in 4 movements, and I also need to say there's also vocal on the piece. So when you have a vocal on the piece, you also normally have it getting more precise what it's about, because there's some text. And the text is kind of different kinds of text from the ocean and from a beach. What do you call it? Beach. This. So some are more kind of classical text, and some are more how can I say? Some are more kind of small thing you need to have before you go into the ocean or something. So it's in some ways a little kind of a chaotic text, and then this music is in some way it's very romantic in some way, because you have all these kind of old pieces with the sea and ocean. So it's a little kind of cliché piece, but in a kind of very how can I say it, in a very lovely way. So you can hear some. It's a very quiet piece, and how can I say this? It's, I don't know how you can say it. It's not totally. I don't try to make sound as the ocean, but it's just a kind of. It just open up for some. How can you say it? Some mysterious fantasies about some stuff. I don't know. It's a very, in some ways, a very magical piece. First of all, it took me a long time to make vocal pieces. I'm most a kind of instrumental composer. I most compose for strings and piano, and sometimes some wood instruments most of the time. And I also like to make some smaller stuff with 3 or 4 musicians. I also work a lot with electronic and other medias. But I'm also organ player, and also a choir conductor. And in some way, I think it's therefore I've never composed an organ piece, only a concept organ piece. And I have made a lot of choir music, but never contemplative choir music. It's more kind of music you use for your service, a kind of music I compose in 1 or 2 hours or something, and then I compose at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I conduct at 9 o'clock, and then it needs to be finished. But it has always been very difficult for me to use the text and also use the vocal, the voice. And I've used it in a younger piece in 2010, and I didn't like it. And then I tried to recompose it in 2021, and I used some of this material in this piece. And I also have a little piece for an iPhone where you're singing one pitch, and then you're putting the iPhone in and then out again. So normally when I make something with the vocal, I like to use a kind of the normal vocal voice, not with a total power voice, but with a small, clean voice. It's not kind of non-vibrato, but just a kind of small voice. And also because its voice has something to do with the childhood. It has something with the mother who's singing for you, and then I'm married with a singer, and I think after I got married with a singer, I got a little more interest in it, especially because he's singing a lot for my kids. So some way it's getting very. I get some. I think I'm more interest, not more interest, but it's more important for me now, the voice, than it was for 10 years ago. So therefore it was very interesting for me to make a piece, if you make stage music, it's in some ways it's more easy to use your voice, but just a kind of total normal piece with voice is more difficult. But now I try, so I'm looking forward to hear how it will sound. Now I'm I will make a piece longer. Normally I take old pieces and change them. And I made a piano quartet for 2 years ago, and now I have an idea to make it a little longer. And then I also have idea to make a project with a vocal ensemble and do it a stage project again, but with more vocal than the last project. So I think I will compose a little more for vocal in the future. Yes, Eating Waterman is not an opera; it's more kind of stage project. There's one singer, so it's not and she's not singing opera. So and she's only singing 20% of the time, 30% of the time. So it's not a kind of opera. Sometimes it ends in a box of an opera, but it's more kind of stage project. And it's also a kind of family project. So it's on the TV behind, or on the movie behind, you can see my family. We're going around in our apartment in 1 week, and it's going up in a very fast tempo, and you see my kids eating, and they're both eating normal food, and they're also eating a guy in the ending. So I like to do something that is getting a little personal for me. Then it's getting easier to compose and easier to get idea and easier to work with. I think I'm not finished with it, but I just get a little tired of it. And when you're getting tired, you just have to stop. I had the festival in 10 years, and I just remember the two, 3 last year. I think especially after Corona. The Corona really, it was very hard to have the Corona, and then when you're getting tired, you just need to stop. And I think it's very interesting to do a festival, and I also think it's very interesting to hold. I like to be behind and organize stuff, but I also miss to play a little more. Then I decided to play more and do a less organized less. So I think it will take a break in 10 years. It's also difficult when you have a family, because I'm traveling with my music. And when I had the festival, sometimes I had to decide if I need to travel after my music, or I need to travel for Klang Festival, because you need to travel all the time else. And it's difficult when you have a family. So therefore I decided to stop. And I think I will, perhaps not festival, I think it will be more fun to have an ensemble next time. I already had an ensemble in some years, but it's a long time ago. I really like to be here. It's really a beautiful place. We were a little unlucky with the weather, but it's still better than when we looked in the iPhone. Oh, it's raining all the time, but it's still a lot of sun. So I come from, it's in some way I think it have a little to do with the idea in the ocean, because I know I should go to Vigo. I'm coming from a harbor town myself, and when you can hear the birds, I don't know the name of this white ugly birds who's flying around all the time when you're close to the ocean. It's a lot of this birds in my hometown, so it's a kind of, you have this all the time. Yes, it's very lovely to be. It's really, I really like to be here.
Okay, thank you.